What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Enoch. Aqua's good, bro.
Yo, shaking.
Y'all know what y'all watching. It's the Blood Brothers Podcast. And today's episode, we talking about relationships and breakups. Uh, what do you think is the best way to get over a bad breakup or a relationship that you've been in for so long?
I mean, if we're gonna talk about relationships, you have to consider friendships, dating, all of that. Like when things fall apart, the best way and the easiest way to heal from that is, get over it.
Hmm. Well,
Great. You got anything to
that's
leave
it.
with the people?
Hey, on that note, keep God before anything. Simple.
Strive for perfection. If you fall short, you'll still be excellent. Have a great episode.
What's good? It's your boy Enoch. Ak, you ready?
Been here, been ready.
I hope y'all know what y'all into right now. This is the Blood Brothers Podcast. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Y'all know how we like to do this before we get going. Let's bow our heads. Our Father in heaven, thank you for this day. Thank you for this moment. Use us. We appreciate you and love you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
That was a slow prayer.
You know,
Okay.
I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. Be
Figure
what
it
it
out.
is. It is what
All
it
right, it's
is.
my turn anyway.
Ah,
Mission statement. Y'all know us, Mr. Consistencies.
okay.
That's what we do.
Okay.
Empowering men to
Mm-hmm.
become leaders in society under
Mhm.
God's laws. Consequently, men, women, and children will understand the foundations of a real man. Shouts out to God. Shouts out
Shots
to my
out.
bro.
Speaking of God,
How you just
talk-
say it like that? Speaking of God, like it's just a normal.
nah, because it's like we speak about God a lot.
I know.
I know, like sometimes I get a chance to when I do listen back to the podcast, I'm like, yo, we really do be talking about God a lot.
That's the homie.
So let me ask you something. I think we should really let's dive into who we talk about. I want to ask you something.
Okay, let's go.
Who is God? Who is he? When somebody asks you who is God? What is
I
that?
mean, if we had to, it sounds so weird.
Yeah.
God, please don't take this as an insult. There's no words that can describe you. But if we
Facts.
had to simplify him in, simplistic terms, so that way
Yeah.
people could, understand him in a more or a more simple mind frame.
Digestible way.
Yeah, digestible way. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Digestible
Yeah.
way. I would say I look at him in three aspects. So
Okay.
first, I have him as my creator.
Uh-huh.
Then I understand his spiritual being,
Yeah.
and then I understand him as my father.
Okay.
So those are the three things that I identify him with. In each one, it has specific characteristics that really show true to who he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
So what would you say your explanation if somebody says who is like this straight term? Who is God to you?
to me, I would say like when I think about him, I mainly think about him as a creator, and
Mm-hmm.
not to downplay any of those other things,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
because when I look at him as a creator, I view myself as his specially handmade crafted product.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it allows me to identify what he created me for, and
Yeah.
it draws a certain level of purpose to my life,
That's important.
right?
That
Understanding.
kind of goes back to the last episode when you say that.
Yeah, watch the last episode if you want to
Yeah.
reference.
Yeah.
But him as a creator and understanding that there is no creator that wants his creation to fail because it's a
Hmm.
bad reflection on him.
Mm.
But at the same time, in retrospect, you have to consider this. If you're a creator you have rules that allow your product to operate effectively.
That's true.
And I think that's where people get lost in translation.
Hmm.
You know.
I like that. I like that.
Thank you, thank you. What about you? How do you view God? Somebody be like, who is God to you?
Well, at first I would say, who is God? God is. And it's
Okay.
like, what? That's a little too deep. So it's like God is like, it's so hard to explain how great he is until you experience him. So I'll
Hmm.
say this. You know my son, Eli, right?
Okay.
You know how energetic he is because
Yeah.
you've experienced it. If I say to somebody, like, yo, my son, his energy is crazy. Like, you know, like it'd be like, oh yeah, word. But they won't know what I mean until they see. Then they see, like, oh, that's what you meant.
Yeah.
It's almost like that kind of thing. So if I could use that example to kind of correlate, like with God, like for an example, when my son, right, I was on the phone with my boy. He was in the bathroom. I was like to my boy, watch. When he comes out, he's gonna do a flip.
Yeah.
He was laughing like, word. I'm like, nah, watch. As soon as he come out the bathroom, he's about to do a flip. I was on
Hmm.
FaceTime. So I was recording. He came out the bathroom, he did a flip. He was like, oh shoot, you wasn't lying. I was
Yeah.
like, yo, bro, I know him.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like the same thing where if I say to somebody, like, yo, watch what God do, right? Watch what God do in this situation. They be like, all right. I can say that because I have a relationship with him. I know him, and in this type of situation, I know how he handles it. So
Mm.
now I built that relationship with God. Like now I know how he's gonna handle this situation right here. So when I say this is gonna happen, then it happened, and it'd be like, yo, it really happened. Be like, I knew it was gonna happen. And in the same sense, for an example, if my son doesn't come out the bathroom and do a flip like I thought he was, it'd be like, I thought he was gonna be a flip. Nah, but I know he's gonna do something else in another area that I'd be like, oh, he did that. He flipped off the steps instead. In that
Mm.
same thing, if I say like, watch what God does in this situation and it doesn't happen, I'll say it didn't happen, but watch how this works in my favor. Because
Mm.
you know what I'm saying?
I get you.
So
I
that's
get you.
how I could bring those two together to make somebody understand, like, yo, that relationship is so important.
So if I guess the question would be then, how do you how do you identify his characteristics?
Mm.
Because so basically you gave an analogy from your son
Mm-hmm.
and you correlated with God's presence in
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
ability to be,
Yeah.
what you're thinking of
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
simplistic terms, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what you have to consider is when we're speaking on God, a lot of people don't they'll be like, "Oh, I pray, but he doesn't talk back," or I
Yeah, I hear that
you
a
know,
lot.
I think about him, but it's just nothing happens, right? And
Yeah.
it's like because for you to understand who God is, ultimately you have to understand his characteristics
Yeah.
and his nature,
Yeah.
right? That's
Yeah.
really what it comes down to because
Yeah.
you're never
Yeah.
gonna with your own, physical being, you're never gonna see him,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
And watch the last episode, we were talking about it's not something that you feel either. You don't
Mm-hmm.
feel God, you
Mm-hmm.
think him,
Mm-hmm.
and then your body reacts to
Mm-hmm.
the thoughts of who he is. But even when you're thinking about him, think about it, you don't have a vision of what
Yeah.
he looks like.
I mean, you can feel his presence. You can feel his
Yes, but
presence.
the root of you feeling his presence is the part
The
that your
thought. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
mind
Yeah. That's true.
is the
Yeah.
governing force behind it, right? So
Yeah.
that's what I was saying. You
Yeah.
feel him, but you think him before you feel him.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
feeling that you get is a reaction to your
Yeah.
thoughts about him,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right?
Because
It's
if he's
not
not in your mind.
then what is your body? You can get tingles and
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
anybody, right?
Facts.
Somebody rub you
Facts.
wrong and you get a tingle, whatever.
Facts. That's true.
So that's why I was saying to keep it in the context of you feel his presence, but
Yeah.
the root of it is from your mind.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So when you think about his nature and his characteristics, and this is why you would say, okay, maybe it didn't happen how I thought it was going to happen in this
Mm,
one area,
yeah.
but in other areas of my life,
Yeah.
he's going to show himself true,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
But that comes from understanding his nature. So I guess the best way
Yes.
I guess a good way to think about it is, what is God's nature,
Ooh.
right? Like
Ooh.
what is his being? Like what is, when you say God's presence and you think
Uh-huh.
about him, what are the things that you think about that describe his nature, his being as a spiritual being?
Yeah. Well, I would have said that initially he's a
Hmm.
spirit.
Hmm.
So you have to at the end of the day, what this all boils down to is faith.
Yeah.
If you don't believe that God is real,
Yeah.
there's no, I don't know how to say this any other way, but
There's no hope.
yeah, there's no hope in finding out or receiving or experiencing any of it. Because if
Yeah.
I know that, if in my mind that's not real, it will never come in my mind because I won't allow it. I'm
Hmm.
blocking that out. That's why I gotta stop being, because I'm trying to dumb it down, but I gotta be straightforward with it. Because for people to really get it, you have to understand Jesus too. So when Jesus was in his hometown, he could not do miracles. Why? We're talking about Jesus.
Hmm. This is his
He's
son.
his son,
Hmm.
God on earth.
Hmm.
He could not do miracles in his own town. Why? Because they didn't believe. They had no faith. So, what's that telling me is, if you don't believe or have any faith, there's really no experience in it.
That's true. Uh, if you want to take it away from that aspect
Mm-hmm.
and mirror it with current society,
Yeah.
right? Because I guess a lot of times we refer to the Bible and the stories because, think about it, we're talking, and I always tell you this, we're talking from a faith perspective,
Exactly.
but
Exactly.
to make it digestible to somebody who's not driven by faith or biblical context, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at President Obama,
Okay.
right? Let's use him as an example.
Okay.
So people believed in his message,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So when you believed in him, regardless of if his actions helped African American community or not, it really didn't
Yeah.
matter
Yeah.
because you already put into your mind that you believe that this man is going to help
Yeah.
the African American community. And
Yeah.
it, like I said, it's not a knock verse him or anything like that. I'm
Yeah.
just speaking from a more
Practical.
a practical
Yeah.
reasoning, right?
Yeah.
So whatever you place your faith in,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So if you ask us, we'll say life and death is in the power of the tongue,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But ultimately, what we're talking about, life and death is in what you think,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because
Yeah.
what you think is what is
Comes out.
digested, and
Yep.
then it's what is delivered,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So to consider God as a being, the faith aspect of it is so crucial because it's the force that drives you to keep seeking who he is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when we're talking about his nature and his characteristics, you have to consider yourself in a way, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
look, if I'm made in God's image, like I
Yep.
sent y'all the video,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like Genesis 26, where he explains
Yep.
who his creation is.
Yep.
This is why I said when I think about him, I constantly think of him as a creator. Not that he's less than in any
Yeah.
other area,
Yeah.
but when I think of him from a creative perspective, it
Uh-huh.
allows me to build a relationship with him that is, it's a multitude of thoughts,
Exactly.
right? Where it's like he's my creator, but because he's my creator, he's also my father.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
because I accepted him as my father, I have his spirit,
Yeah.
and through his spirit he created the earth, so
Yeah.
I also have the ability to create.
Create.
So when
Exactly.
I create, it's in my mind, so
Yeah.
he lives in my mind. So I'm just trying to
Yeah.
bring it together for you guys
Yeah.
so y'all understand
That's perfect.
how he is God. Like the word God, I should have looked it up before I started, but
Mm-hmm.
God, the word isn't, you know, particular to the God we serve, right? There are
Yeah.
many, they'll say there's many
Many
different gods,
gods. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But you have to consider the word is basically describing something who is, you know,
Omnipotent.
omnipotent and
Yeah.
grand and dominant.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why we choose the God that we choose, because everybody chooses what God they want to serve,
Yeah.
is because there has never been another God that has sent his son to
That's a fact.
reconcile, you know, mankind for for the righteousness of his kingdom. There's never been
Mm.
that.
Oh
So
yeah, we going
because
deep
of that,
now.
you have to consider, you even got to consider this, right? Is there anything you wouldn't do for your child?
Hmm.
Right? Think
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
If your child is in dire danger, there's
Yeah.
nothing that's going to stop you from doing whatever it is necessary to
Yeah.
protect your child.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, it's crazy as you said the creator thing. Even that goes back to the last episode about the dash. For me, I feel that if you hear and don't do anything creative, don't create nothing, that's like a dishonor to God.
True.
Because it's like, I created you.
Mhm. Of
You have the ability to make something out of the position you in, the world you in.
course.
So if you are here and not doing anything, it's like I didn't create you to just not do nothing. If I make a lamp and I sell it to you and I'm expecting this lamp to work, but it doesn't work, that's a malfunction.
Mhm.
Something's wrong. I
Mhm.
created this lamp to be able to provide light. And if that lamp isn't providing light, then there's no use for it.
True.
I'm not saying you're useless if you don't do anything on this earth.
You're useless if you don't do anything on this earth. What you talking about? Yo, you bugging. You're
I knew
useless
you was
if you
gonna say
don't
that. That's why I said that part.
you're useless if you don't do anything on this earth worth worth honoring God. But go ahead, I'm
Mm.
sorry.
Nah, I mean, you said it. If you're gonna really be here and not do nothing, you're not only you're dishonoring yourself, you're dishonoring God. Like He created you in His image, and you're gonna take that for granted and really just be out here doing nothing,
We even
literally
have to
nothing.
we have to specify doing things because
Mm.
remember,
Hmm.
people have their perspective of doing things, right?
Hmm.
So just doing anything, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
first you have to align yourself with right standing and
Yeah.
purpose.
Yeah.
Let's not say do something. Let's
Hmm.
call it purposeful living for
Purposeful
God.
living.
Purpose.
Purposeful.
We're purposely living for God,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
you also said you spoke about purpose, right?
Hmm.
The highest form of worship. I know a lot of people look at worship and they think like it's like singing
Hmm.
and dancing and praising God.
Yeah.
No, there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that. That's praise.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the aspect of worship
Hmm.
is actually becoming what God intended.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
worshiping God for
Yeah.
him as the being that he is.
Yeah.
When
That's
you
true.
become what you're supposed to become, that is the highest form of intimacy you could have with God because now he's using you to be a vessel for his purpose,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And to consider him as, and I think that's why I've been thinking about the creator thing for a long time. I've been stuck on that, that for a
Yeah.
minute.
Yeah.
But the reason why I love the creator aspect of him is because I feel like that is the root of why he's our father,
Mm.
right? Because
Yeah.
think about it, you're EJ and Leah's creator
Yeah. Yeah.
because you're their
The
father,
father. Yeah. Yeah.
right? And then and you could break it down like this, right? EJ has your characteristics
Yeah.
in your
Yeah.
nature
Yes.
because you're his father.
Yep. Yep.
Like Lily, same thing. It
Mm-hmm.
just goes back to they go hand in, like a creator is a father.
Yes.
The
Yes.
beauty, it's just the beauty of God is he has the ability to, I don't it's not even infiltrate because you have to accept him
Yeah.
for him to live in you, right?
Yeah.
And live
Yeah.
through you.
Yeah.
But I'm a strong believer that his spirit is that deciding factor
Mm-hmm.
of, are you either going to live a purposeful life or are you just here taking up space,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Cause
know?
cause there's always moments. There's always gonna I can guarantee you, there's always gonna be a moment where someone that doesn't believe in God has an opportunity to decide, was that God or was that a coincidence? There's
Yeah.
always gonna be a moment. So
Hmm.
you can say, nah, I never seen God in anything. You've had it. I want you to, if you don't believe in God, think of a moment where you was like, yo, that was crazy. That was crazy. I don't even know how that happened. That was the moment where you was like, was that God or was that coincidence? Was that God? Because there's so many things that happen throughout our lives where we're like, wow, I don't know how I made it out of that. I don't know what was protecting me. I don't know what it was. But for us, because we have faith,
Yeah.
we can clearly say, like, yo, God did not, God was the reason why I didn't get into that accident right there.
Yeah.
That's it. It wasn't me being this great driver or me being so smart. No.
Yeah.
God brought me some awareness so that I can see that that was coming and I bust this left. But some people like, yo, that was crazy. Yo, dude was coming. I don't know what happened. I said, woo. And then I don't know, like, bro, it was crazy. Nah, for us, we gonna be like, yo, that was God, bro.
Yeah. And it goes back to the root of all of it is it's your thought process. It
Mm-hmm.
has to be, because I don't know. I hear a lot of people, they, you can watch the last episode, but we were talking
Mm-hmm.
about how, you think God before you feel God,
Mm,
right?
mm.
And I think the problem is that people want to feel God
Mm-hmm.
first, and
Yeah.
then they want to focus their mind on him. And the
Yeah.
reason why,
Yeah.
the reason why I would say it doesn't work is because, okay, remember, we're talking about God. Who is he?
Mm-hmm.
His nature, his
Yeah.
characteristics. One of his characteristics is he's very consistent,
Oh yeah.
right? He's
100%.
he's very consistent and he's very organized,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So you have to consider, if you're trying to base God off your feelings and this feeling you get, your feelings change.
Yeah.
Your feelings
Yeah.
change in every hour, every minute. It's everybody. It's not just, it's not, I'm not pointing out anybody specifically. I'm just saying
Yeah.
feelings are constantly evolving, revolving, circling. So you have to remember, if that's something that's going on in your life, that feeling, and it's always changing, that's not God, because God is
Mm.
consistent.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can automatically identify his presence by a consistent thought,
Yeah. Yep.
right? And through his presence, your mind, it draws a certain consistency to your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Mm-hmm.
why people will go, yo, E, why you always in a good mood?
Yeah.
Right? It's a consistency. So
Yeah.
you can trace it back to his presence. Like, the
Yeah.
reason why I'm always in a good mood is
Mm-hmm.
because he's present in my mind on a
Yeah.
consistent basis.
Facts.
And that's
Facts.
one of his characteristics. And that's just one
Yeah.
of them. So
Yeah.
God, forgive me if I hope I
Yeah.
identified
He's
it right.
he's bigger than
Anything we
anything
can
that we could
say.
explain.
Yeah, we're
Literally.
just trying to like give it a rational thought process where you can go, all right, so in this area of my life, I'm consistent.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it about this area that allows me to remain consistent?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
if you start to think of little things, you'll start to be able to dissect what is God and what is an idol. What do I mean?
Mm.
Think about it like
Yeah.
this. If somebody can get up for work every single day,
Mm-hmm.
go get to that chicken,
Mm-hmm.
but they can't get up every day. And thank God. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's where
Yeah.
that's the difference between idolizing
Uh-huh.
and understanding God as a source. So
Yeah.
you'll get up and go to work and you'll be like, thank God that you let me get up and go get to
Yeah.
this bag
Yeah.
because I could provide for my family. Somebody
Exactly.
else would be like, yo, I'm getting up to get to this bag because I'm about to get fly.
That's it. That's it.
There's a big difference.
Consistency. And that's why, going back to that example with EJ, I can say he's about to go do a flip because he's consistently, everywhere he going, flipping.
Hmm.
God is going to handle it. Why? Because he's consistent in everything that he's done in my life. So I can say that.
It's
Simple as that.
his record. His record speaks for itself. You
Yes.
know?
Yes.
But I think just to sum it all up as a general consensus, God is uh
Hold
so
on. Stop. Just pause when you say that. God is.
yeah. There's so many
That
things
just
that
sounds
can't.
so good. That just sounds so
My
good
bad.
right
Yo,
there.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
That sounds so good right
When
there.
I said it, mad things went to my head. I had
Bro,
to try
that's
to.
why I
I was
said
trying to.
sometimes you gotta just let that
I was
sit.
trying to bring it in. Like, all right. So God is, and everything in my head just went everything to me.
Bro.
But if you could make it so simplistic, God is a creator.
Mm-hmm.
He is a father. He is a friend.
Yeah.
He is a loving being.
The
He
beginning
is
and the end.
he's the alpha omega
Platform, man.
beginning. And I'm not trying to go in OD,
Yeah, yo,
but
man.
but
I
just
get
to
hyped just when you start talking like that, bro.
yeah, because it's just one of those things. The only thing we could say to try to you know help aid you guys through the process as you seek him is
Mm-hmm.
remember it's your thoughts that's going to attract him,
Yeah, yeah,
right? The
yeah.
things that we can't see, that we don't hear,
Facts.
he hears them,
Facts.
right? So if you are constantly in malfunction or if you're constantly malfunctioning in your thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be hard for you to build that connection with him.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a bad connection with your cell phone.
Yeah.
It's like there's so much static in between.
Hmm.
You're not sure. Was that I what did you say? So you're not clear on your decisions, you're not clear on the moves you make when you're constantly seeking God with no bunch of distractions in the way, with not a whole bunch of noise. Then it's like, okay, sometimes it's good to just really just sit and just be quiet and listen and
Yeah.
just think about God.
Yeah.
Literally just sit there and just think about God. Try to block out the noise of life and just really sit there and just be like, yo, God, man, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. It's okay to tell God, like, I don't know my purpose. I don't know why I'm here. I want to hear you. I want to hear you. Lead me, like, give me something. It's okay to do
Enoch,
that.
Enoch, it's me, God. It's me. Your
You're not
hat
gonna
looks
hear it like that, though. I'm
your
sorry.
your hat looks dumb.
You might. My hat
Your
is
hat
fire, bro.
looks
You see the H in
dumb.
the back? H for Enoch.
I wish I wish
Stop
you would have
hating.
wore that when
Stop
you were
hating, bro.
talking.
You just
I
mad because
wish
you
you
can't
would
pull
have
this
wore
off.
that when
You
you were
just mad.
talking
You just
about
mad
me.
because you can't pull it off.
What
All
happened?
right, back.
Why are you
But
yelling
yeah.
at me? What happened? What happened? God was
People probably, yeah, this is normal for us. People probably don't really know how we play like this because we always serious when we talk on the podcast, but this is regular.
anyway. Nah,
Yeah,
listen. God is whatever you need Him to be,
that's a
whenever you
fact.
need Him to be
Period.
it, however you need Him to be it. But
Yep.
you just have to remember, you have to do your part.
Yes, sir.
He's never, and this goes back to his consistency. Remember, we're
Yep.
talking about hit the characteristics. Because he's honest and he has integrity, he
Mm-hmm.
will never override your free will.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you have to choose
Choose him.
to
Yep.
go, okay, I want you, right?
I'm gonna
And
seek.
then
I'm gonna seek.
I'm going to seek and I'm going
Yep.
to choose you.
Yep.
Then you'll start to hear, yes, it's me, God. No, I'm joking. You're not going to hear that. No, let me stop. You're really never going to hear it. I'm sorry. But you know what I mean.
I mean, according, I mean, what's his name said his friend heard. I don't know. I wasn't there, but hey, you never know. I don't know. I can't vouch for it.
Listen, I'm not even going to get into
I'm not
that.
gonna put that out there because I'm not. I don't know. I don't know.
Listen, I love God, and me and him been rocking for very long, and he's never came to me in no creepy voice. But
You never know, man. You never
but you
know.
can't listen. You cannot never put nothing by him. You
That's a
can't.
fact. That's a
I
fact.
won't
God
put nothing by
is,
him.
like we said, God is. You
Yeah,
never know. You might hear an audible voice of God. Listen to it. On that note,
yeah. Okay, cool.
it's gonna be ups and downs through this process.
Facts.
You're gonna seek him. You might hear him. You might not. But through that process, keep him in your mind. And how do you do that? Keep God before anything.
Facts. I know my motto. Strive for perfection.
Mm-hmm.
The only way to do that is to make the right decision every
Yes.
time.
Yes.
Cannot I cannot harp on that enough.
Yep.
Please,
Yep.
for your own sake, for your kids' sake, for generation's sake, make the right decision every
Yes,
time,
sir.
even when it's hard. And if worse comes to worse, if you fall short, you'll still be excellent.
That's a fact.
Thank you guys for listening. We
Thank you.
appreciate
We
you.
appreciate you.
God, keep on doing
iTunes, Spotify, YouTube.
OD.
Yes,
Other than
sir.
that, hope y'all enjoying the 30-minute shows because we are.
Ooh, ooh.
I hate that. Bye.